Hello, and welcome to Grassroots Alliance live stream. I'm Neil here with Alex. Neil with the Houston Democracy Project. Alex with the Gap Network, and Tarrant for Change, and many excellent efforts. And we are here as part of our ongoing through the election and beyond the election Texas Grassroots Alliance live stream programming. Thank you for filling me in there, Alex. And we are giving voice to autonomous grassroots organizers across Texas. And today, in rapid fire fashion, we're going to feature an all-star lineup of Texas Grassroots Alliance leaders who are working on their own, working with each other, working for the public, working for you. And this is going to be it's going to be like a celebrity roast, but without the insults. It's going to be great. This is a galaxy of stars of the local Texas Grassroots Alliance universe. So Alex.
Hey, Neil. I'm okay if there's going to be some roast along the way. So if it ends up going in that direction, I say bring it on. But yeah, let's start sharing with folks some of these highlights.
All right. Well, I do see a sketchy character. I do see a sketch. It's the same one I see in the mirror. So Neil Aquino, Houston Democracy Project, that's me. And every Thursday morning on KPFT, Pacifica Radio, 90.1 FM, from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Central Time, I'm with TGA member Egberto Willies of Politics Done Right. Politics Done Right can be found on his YouTube channel, egbertowillies.com. Can also be found on KPFT FM 90.1, 6 a.m. in the morning. That station live streams across the globe. And Egberto also does an online show every day at 3 Central Time for all the world to see. Egberto is a great programmer and also is an author. Just wrote Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man, which I have read and can recommend. So multi-talented. And this past week, we focused every week on local politics. We talked about primary results. We talked about Mayor Whitmire. Every week, we have a very specific focus on Houston, Harris County, and sometimes Texas politics. And then also whatever the callers want, give the show a call. Egberto's very solicitous. So that's a great program and a great collaboration.
Yeah, I highly encourage people checking out Egberto's programming. He's got some great conversations, some great guests from all over the country and all over the state. And it's always an exciting time to see TGA members collaborating on Politics Done Right. All right. Well, next up, we have a spotlight for Lone Star Left and Progress Texas. Progress Texas does a daily dispatch of key articles and key news that they see coming over the wire. And it's exciting to see that Lone Star Left was highlighted with the great article they wrote that's titled, "Will Texas Ever Turn Blue? And here's what the data tells us." And so we are looking forward to diving deeper into this article on a future TGA live stream. So be on the lookout for that. But for the time being, if you want to get ahead of the effort, you can go to Lone Star Left Substack, subscribe. It's free to subscribe, but if you also want to be a paid subscriber, that is hugely beneficial to Michelle and the Lone Star Left project that she's doing and all the great content she's creating. And then you can also let Progress Texas know you appreciate the spotlight Lone Star Left's article happening within their daily dispatch. And then also, if you want to listen to their podcast where they go through the articles and they highlight all the different pieces, there's several articles they highlight. And like we shared, Lone Star Left is right there amongst these articles that are being discussed. So really, really excited about that. Check out their podcast. And we may have additional collaborations in the future with Progress Texas, highlighting TGA members and their work. So we're excited about that potential. Be on the lookout for those announcements as they get secured.
That's right. And for our viewers, we'd love your comment. We appreciate everyone watching. Share word of these Texas Grassroots Alliance live stream programs, and we appreciate everyone watching.
All right, next up, Neil. This one is all yours.
All righty. Okay, so Daniel Cohen, my friend Daniel Cohen, a leader of the Indivisible Houston, did great organizing job, really meaningful organizing job of Harris County Democratic precinct chairs to admonish Kim Ogg, the DA, who was rejected like 77 to 23% in the Democratic primary. There was analysis in the Houston Chronicle, Jen Rice, their county reporter, about what led to the significant defeat of Kim Ogg. Daniel was correctly chaired. People don't like how she weaponized her office to go after people within the party. So Daniel Cohen, a precinct chair, that the position in itself, a precinct chair of people who we want to support, even if they're not TGA members, autonomous, political, volunteer actors. It was just a matter of the public starting to actually discuss it. Cohen rejects the idea that Ogg's loss can be chalked up to powerful enemies like Soros, right? And we're ready, Mr. Soros, if you're watching, send me a check, okay? We've been waiting. When she says powerful people beat me, I think it's hilarious, Cohen said, instead attributing the outcome to the many grassroots supporters who put in the work to elect Tier. I look at the pictures and I'm like, they're powerful, but it's not what you think. It shows that people can be powerful. People can hold their own elected officials accountable. So this was just a tremendous effort. And I said volunteer is super important. Indivisible Houston takes donations. Egberto Willies takes donations. The Lone Star Left Substack takes subscribers. My Houston Democracy Project takes donations and contributions. And when you support grassroots autonomous organizers, you're supporting yourself. And you see what Daniel says here. People can hold their elected officials accountable. We did a show yesterday about members of the Texas legislature who don't want to criticize Republicans. We name names. And that's what you're doing as we're 9 or 10 months away from a Viktor Orban type authoritarian situation, from mass deportations and roundups of migrants. And we have to have autonomous voices that press our elected officials and power structures into act. Daniel Cohen at Indivisible Houston is a great, great example of such a thing.
Yeah, just exciting work that happened in Houston and Harris County. And looking forward to much, much more, not only in that area, but all throughout Texas.
Throughout Texas, there are TGA members in Galveston, Waco, Texarkana, New Braunfels, rural Texas. So it's not just about the big counties. Every single, Alex is involved in a really important effort in Waco, McClellan County. Everything matters. Everything matters. There's no community too small. Every community is important. Every person who wants to use their talents, be free, see a better Texas, no matter where you are, that's who we're looking out for and helping.
All right, next up, Neil.
Okay, that's me. So I was the speaker at the Humble Area Democrats talking about the Houston Democracy Project and also the John Cornyn Houston Office Project, which meets every Tuesday, 11:30 to 1, 5300 Memorial Drive. We show up visibly and confidently for democracy in a fully open and exposed place because it's important for people to see others like themselves showing up. The president of the Humble Area Democrats, John Carter, is also a TGA member. He's active in the Democratic Party in Harris County, and it's important to see these things. The boundaries between official channels, non-official channels, they can be fluid. Where we talk about autonomous grassroots organizing, that goes into the party structures, or it can. The party structures can use the resources of grassroots organizers. What's important is hearing each other, being respectful of each other, not siloing or making the boundaries too rigid, not having a caste system where some reap the benefits of political activity. So I was deeply appreciative. There were 20 folks at the meeting. Humble is a community in Harris County. Exxon Oil, I think their first oil find was in Humble, and it's a suburb or an autonomous part of Harris County. And I was very appreciative for the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, and like you said, like these official channels, right? This is the autonomy of grassroots organizers that we get on the inside and the outside. Important to have this inside-outside infrastructure that so many folks kind of lose sight of the importance of, so that we can collaborate in key spaces. And this is just a great example of that.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Next up, we have the Texas Public Radio station had an hour-long interview, or almost an hour, with tri-chairs for the Texas Poor People's Campaign, Danita Jones, and myself. And so I'm really privileged and grateful to be able to serve as a tri-chair this year for the Texas Poor People's Campaign. And so we got a chance to talk about the March 2nd Assembly, where we partnered with over 38 organizations and had close to about 400 people there at the Capitol. And this was in coordination with 33 other states, including Washington, D.C., where the Poor People's Campaign organized this launch so that we are signaling to everyone in our country that the poor and low-income voters will be mobilized. They are the sleeping giant. And this is how we are going to start pushing for the progress that the Poor People's Campaign has in terms of their platform, which is around wages and affordable housing and healthcare and public education, climate, reducing the militarism that we have. I feel like I just said that wrong. I don't know why my tongue's getting tired, but anyways, we're excited about this work and the collaboration that we're going to be doing over the next 40 weeks. So check this out. This is on Spotify. You can get it directly on their website. It's a great conversation. We had some folks call in to talk about this and even challenge what the impact of the Poor People's Campaign can be in the current environment that we're in. But the ultimate goal is to stop poverty in our country and in our state, where poverty is the fourth leading cause of death in America, and 800 people are dying a day from poverty. And so this is an epidemic that we can absolutely solve, because it is a people-made crisis. And so that means we can have a people-made solution. All right.
Beautiful.
Next up, want to give a spotlight to all the amazing organizers who came out to support the Doc Bookshop, one of the largest Black-owned booksellers and bookstores in the Southwest. They are in Fort Worth, Texas. Donna and Danya Craddock are co-owners and have been in existence since 2008. And so they've been around for now 16 years. They've made it through financial collapse in the country. They made it through a pandemic. They made it through political turmoil. And they're still standing, trying to get books and education and culture to the community in Fort Worth and at large. And so they are amazing leaders in the community. Last Sunday, Beto O'Rourke came out to spotlight his book that he wrote. And we have Misty, who is an organizer out of the HEB area, not the store, but the Hearst, Euless, Bedford area in Tarrant County. And Misty is also ran for school board and may potentially run again. We have Danita Jones that we mentioned with the Texas Poor People's Campaign. Danita and I were hanging out a lot this last week, so you're going to see Danita and myself together a lot. And so Danita is also the co-founder of the founder of the Citizens Lab effort, which is an interactive, immersive effort to educate community members around government and representation and the power that they have. We have Ricky Clark, who is leads the My Brother's Keeper effort in Fort Worth and local school districts, working with young Black and brown students giving cultural education and helping them see how they have power and their voice in the community. And then we have Keisha Brazil, who's a part of Vote Fort Worth and also does voter education in the community and really tries to help facilitate conversations amongst candidates and elected officials, creating town halls when they won't create it themselves so that community members can have access to these folks in power. And so Keisha does great work within the community. So just you're seeing a great picture of some great organizing efforts that are happening in Tarrant County, and really excited that we were all able to come together and to support the Doc Bookshop. So if you're buying a book online soon, or if you're going to be in the DFW area, stop by the Doc Bookshop in person. Go to docbookshop.com to purchase a book, and give them support versus, let's say, an Amazon or somebody else.
And when we organize together, when we work together, not everyone we've referenced is necessarily a TGA member like the Doc Bookshop, but if we can expand these networks, we expand our own power, we expand our values, we expand the support of one another, and that's why we wanted to do this program today. It's just a few more to go, so we appreciate the audience. Please leave a chat, and we have this power. Just takes a little bit of effort, imagination, a little time, and a commitment of resources. If you donate to candidates, donate to candidates you need to donate, especially low-funded candidates. There's a lot of candidates in uphill races who do heroic work, making sure that the flag of our causes are shown. But also remember some of the bigger campaigns. Think of all the big campaigns that have come and gone. They don't leave a permanent infrastructure of community, of voter turnout, of activism. And just think about all the campaigns. What have they left behind? Here's a way to put your values into organizers like yourself and lead the fight ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to show an extension of the TGA network. So all these organizers are connected to Tarrant for Change, which is a county-wide collaborative organization connecting with over 200 organizers in Tarrant County. So not all of them may have the bandwidth or the interest to be a part of the larger TGA network, the Texas Grassroots Alliance network, but because Tarrant for Change is connected to TGA, then all of its colleagues and collaborators and organizers are also connected to TGA, because Tarrant for Change will kind of be the person who's sending communication back and forth, right?
Yeah, I love
and so that's what's exciting about building this network and having all of these connective elements within something like the Texas Grassroots Alliance.
Right. I really like that comment about bandwidth. People will sometimes denigrate themselves. Oh, I just don't have time. I can't make the commitment I want. Well, everyone has different lives. Everyone has different obligations. But there's so many there's millions and millions and millions of decent people in Texas and in the nation who, if given the option to have a way, a channel to put those views forth, they'll do it. And there's different ways you can do it. So one thing we want to do is help folks put their values into play. You don't have to be a full-time quote unquote activist, but there's everyone can do something. Everyone can do something. And there's millions of people like you with really good values who aren't reflected in our mainstream political channels.
Yeah. And when we talk about infrastructure, which we've talked about recently in some TGA live streams, this is what we mean. It's about the relationships and connecting the relationships together so that we have the pipelines of communication, the pathways for collaboration, so that we can work together. And this is what infrastructure looks like, to be able to connect all of us together in one way or another. So very, very excited about that. Next up, Neil, we have the Texas Observer.
And so this again is, and it's a little fuzzy for me to read. This again is, thanks. This again is Daniel and Indivisible. And then also Swing Texas Left, Rebecca Shulka and Jane Lesnick were very important in this effort. It's never a one-person effort. Sometimes there might be a leader, there might be a little hierarchy within the chain. Other times it's co-organizers. It's all sorts of things. In December, the Harris County Democratic Party voted by a large margin to admonish OG. I want to say it was 129-62. So it was a more than 2-to-1 vote. And these were precinct chairs. That vote was held at 5 o'clock on the campus of the University of Houston on a workday in this giant county. So there were hundreds of people in that room who braved rush hour traffic. And University of Houston, it's a pain in the ass to park. You don't know you don't know where to park. And so I just want to put that out there. The commitment that rank and file people. Daniel told Houston Public Media, that's KUHF, that OG has weaponized her prosecutorial double standard and not aligned with democratic values, and has put her finger in the scale for the endorsement of Republicans. So, and OG lost. And there are other strong candidates, Christian Menifee, Allison Mathis for a judicial seat that Indivisible supported. Jamal Haynes is one whom is going into a runoff. There was recently, for a judicial seat, there was recently the Ashley Simmons in the very important race. I think it's State House District 146, Sean Theory, who has taken money and exposited a lot of anti-transgendered and pro-book restrictions in our schools. And that's a very important race. And so sometimes we're involved in conventional politics. Sometimes we might be involved in just the action on our street. Sometimes we might be involved in something in between. So it's a web of networks, of communications, of actions, and there's a place for you. There's a place for you, for your leadership and for your help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is why we want to produce our own media infrastructure to complement traditional media,
Yes.
to make sure that not only are these stories being highlighted in traditional media, but then we also get to reinforce and amplify within our own network. So it's so important that you're seeing us navigate through YouTube and Twitter and Spotify and Facebook and websites and online publications. It's all important for us to make sure we're bringing it back and media infrastructure.
Right. And we're also trying to assure, we know that these channels aren't reliable. We know that Twitter is run by an extreme, super extreme Elon Musk to the right. So we want to maintain, and in some respects, beyond what Alex said, we're casting our rod and reel out there to as many channels as we can, so that as we approach authoritarian situations and we deal with it, that you'll be able to see us. We'll be able to see each other. We'll be able to communicate and interact.
Absolutely. All right. Next up, we have Unified Jam. Unified is an app that has been developed over the last year plus that is designed to help support grassroots organizers and activists. The founder, Cheyenne, is a TGA member. And he has put on a couple of Unified Jams during South by Southwest. And for this year, he had a couple of key panelists. One of them specifically is Trish Contreras, the president of Indivisible Austin.
Oh, there's Trish right there. Yeah.
Trish has done amazing work throughout Texas. And if you ever need something organized at the Capitol, Trish has not only developed the relationships with the staff at the Capitol, but has also built a playbook of all the things that are needed to make sure you have a safe, productive, and impactful event at the Capitol, South Steps, or anywhere else on the grounds. So Trish has done amazing work throughout other issues and other spaces, and actually, also does work in Guadalupe County, which is a couple of counties south of Travis, where she now actually lives. So she really does do work across the state. So Trish was a part of a panel with fellow TGA member Nancy Thompson with Mothers Against Greg Abbott. as well as Antonio Aureliano with Next Gen. And so they had a great conversation, facilitated by Bridget Bandit, to talk about what Texas organizing is looking like, what the impact is, what the needs are, what's not working. And I gotta give a highlight and a shout out to Trish, because she kept hitting the drum of Texas grassroots organizers need resources.
Yes.
And we need to make sure we are finding ways to distribute resources, whether it's getting them to directly, like what Neil was talking about, and all the ways you can donate directly to organizations, or whether it's those big organizations like a Next Gen or others that want to collaborate on labor to also collaborate on resources.
That's right.
That's a big emphasis that she had, and it was great to see her in action, to give a spotlight and a shout out to the Texas Grassroots Alliance as well, and to be able to see both her and Nancy in this conversation.
Yeah, a lot of these labor models, here we are on the side of union, same general side of the aisle, but a lot of these labor models are exploitive as hell. A lot of these labor models, hey, will you contribute labor? And you are at the lower end of a caste system in a way. You're not at the lower end of any meaningful system, but you're seen as a displace in the ecosystem. And a lot of these groups, God bless them, but they have affiliations to candidates or entities with resources, and those resources, trickle down didn't work for Ronald Reagan, and it doesn't work here. And your labors are valued; they're worth something. And if you're doing something, significant, ask where the resources are. Ask where the resources are. And if you're donating to candidates, like I said, we're leaving structures behind of infrastructure, of organization, of encouragement to other, and everyone. This is a very welcoming spot. This is a very egalitarian, a welcoming, friendly, open place. And as you watch TGA organizers, I think what you'll see over time is racial and gender and age. And age is super important. There's a lot of ageism in activist communities. You'll see a variety of folks if you follow with us over the time.
Absolutely. And just as a final note, once again, Danita and I got to be at Unified Jam with a lot of other attendees. And so we took a picture of celebration with Trish because of the great work that she did on that panel. So it was great to see her in action, and so many others.
That's great. Perfect.
But yeah, so that is our spotlights that we wanted to share of TGA members. We also want to encourage folks. I'm going to hand this off to you, Neil.
Great. So there's the QR code, and scan that and send some money to the Texas Grassroots Alliance. That's serving as an umbrella, a unifying, coordinating entity for Texas grassroots organizers to meet in a lateral, non-hierarchical, collegial, fully diverse sense, progressive and pro-democracy. There's not an ideological test to join. You're progressive. You care about democracy. There's a full gamut of folks in there. And my outfit is the Houston Democracy Project, HoustonDemocracyProject.com. And I'm able to contribute. That trip to Humble, I'm not complaining. I was lucky as hell to be able to go to Humble. That's and speak to those folks. That's a 45-mile round trip. That's at Rush. That's a 4-hour investment of time, and those things add up. And so let's support each other. We very much feel that we're supporting folks in Texas. And there's the usual array of pressing issues because this state is so mean-spirited in our legislature. And then there are the clear authoritarian threats, suspension of civil liberties, mass roundups of migrants. And one of the things we're trying to accomplish is to get our politicians and our all networks of activists, including those linked to politicians, to talk. Alex is a great organizer. And it's excellent to be able to co-host the shop with you. And as you continue to watch TGA live stream programs, folks, you'll see different hosts, different formats, different guests, all sorts of stuff. So we don't, the two of us don't have to be featured, don't have to be centered, and you'll see as we go on that we won't be. So thank you all for watching, and we are deeply appreciative of that. Share word, watch the program again. It's great in reruns. Okay, we would syndicate it if we could, and keep share word of us. We're gonna show up no matter what.
Yeah, we're excited to be here with y'all. Thanks so much for spending time with us in this little spotlight highlight, and we'll see y'all next week.
Thank you all.